Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is Toyota's answer to the insanely popular Kia Telluride luxurious boxy three-row SUV. This is the all-new 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander in what I believe is going to be the most popular trim and engine configuration. This is the hybrid limited all-wheel drive, and in this video I'm going to take you on a quick tour of it, show you exactly why this vehicle is so special and why I might consider one for myself, why I've definitely recommended it to a couple of my friends. Stay tuned. All right, gearheads, before we get too far into this one, I do want to go ahead and say thank you to Toyota for bringing us this vehicle to test for you for a full week here on the channel. We first saw this vehicle back at the Chicago Auto Show when it debuted, and here we are almost exactly 1 year later getting a week-long test drive of this one, and I can tell you it's pretty good. We'll go ahead and start with what lies under the bonnet, under the hood of this one, because as I mentioned earlier, this is the hybrid limited. You can get a non-hybrid limited. You can also get the hybrid max limited. So all three powertrains are available in the limited model, which is the mid-grade. The Grand Highlander does start with the XLE trim, and it tops out with the Platinum trim. But this powertrain is a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine mated to a hybrid electric drive, and this one does power all four wheels. It is mated to an electronic on-demand all-wheel drive system, which is routed through an electronically controlled continuously variable transmission. We'll get more into how that works when we're driving it here in just a little bit, but Toyota claims that this powertrain is good for 245 horsepower and 175 pound-feet of torque, though I do believe that is just the torque numbers for the gas engine alone, not the entire hybrid system. Closing the hood on this gloomy, rainy day, I can tell you I will be immensely grateful for those automatic wipers that you just saw go, as well as all of the LED lighting in this one. So you can see LED headlights, LED running lights, LED turn signals, LED fog lights, LED, all the things up front for great visibility in this one. And no, the lighting on this gloomy gray day does not deceive you. This is not a white vehicle. This is what they call coastal cream. So it is a nice kind of pearly off-white color, and it really does give this vehicle a little extra character. In most light, it does look white until you get it next to another white vehicle, and it just kind of sets this vehicle off, gives it a little bit of differentiation. Otherwise, the styling is very familiar to other Toyota products. It does look kind of like a 4Runner, kind of like a RAV4, kind of like everything put together, which is not a bad thing. We've got this nice chrome mustache that goes above the Toyota logo. All the way around, it is a very classy look. As we come around to the side of the vehicle, our limited model does get black lower body cladding as well as wheel arches that go around these 21-inch 10-spoke wheels. They are silver painted and they are wrapped in Yokohama Geolandar tires. They are 255 are 20-inch Yokohama Geolandar tires. And you can see we've got four-wheel disc brakes peeking back behind there. As we pull out and take a look at the entire profile of this, you can see, yes, it is very big and boxy and does very much recall the competitor I brought up in the intro, the Kia Telluride. When Kia launched that vehicle, I don't think they were ready for the immense popularity of it because I don't feel like they've ever really truly met demand. I do believe the same is going to be true here with Toyota. I really think they have a winner on their hands because the big boxy shape of this means there is room inside in all three rows for adults, and you'll see that momentarily. It has truly been a comfortable vehicle in our time with it. And you can see, yeah, this back section definitely does not shy away from proportions that will make it roomy on the inside. As we pull around here to the back of the vehicle, again, very RAV4-ish styling back here, very familiar to other vehicles in the family. Nothing too outlandish back here, but a nice grown-up look for their biggest unibody vehicle in the lineup, if you don't count the Sienna. But yes, definitely bigger on the inside than the Sequoia without being bigger on the outside, which is quite the achievement and quite the feat. You can see we get Grand Highlander spelled out right here underneath the Toyota logo. And being that we have the hybrid model, we get their Beyond Zero hybrid badge with hybrid electric vehicle and all-wheel drive on this side, and a chrome limited badge over here on this side. We do have a tow package on this one, and I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. The exact tow ratings for this vehicle as it's equipped, and then you can see right here, Toyota went ahead and told you exactly where you need to kick to open that rear hatch. I unfortunately have the vehicle running, so I don't believe it's going to work, but you simply kick under there, and oh, looky there, it does work after all. Completely hands-free operation of this lift gate, which does allow me to get in out of the rain just a little bit, to show you just how much room is in the back of this crossover. More room than in the back of their big Tundra-based, truck-based Sequoia SUV. I have been thoroughly impressed with the packaging on the inside of this vehicle, and this really is just the tip of the iceberg with what Toyota engineers and designers were able to do. No, it's not as much as the Sienna minivan. You just can't beat the versatility of minivans, but it is quite the impressive packaging, especially when you consider their big Tahoe fighter in the Sequoia. You can see we have a 60/40 split bench rear seat with top tethers on both of the passenger sides over here, but not on the driver's side seat back right here. We'll get more into rear seat comfort here in a little bit, but you can see this side with Tucker's car seat is reclined ever so slightly to match the pitch of his car seat. This is reclined all the way. So if passengers are getting comfortable back here in the back, they are cutting into the overall cargo carrying capacity of this vehicle, but I can tell you that third row is very comfortable. To fold the seat forward, you simply lift up on that latch and it takes you to its upright position before pivoting all the way downward and giving you a massive opening. I would fold the whole thing down, but again, Tucker's car seat is put into place. Just know that you absolutely have a massive cargo space back here with both of those seats folded flat. And I'll show you here in just a minute where the roller shade is kept, but you can see it attaches right up there and comes all the way back to here. So you can completely cover the cargo area back here with those rear seats folded flat and carry quite a bit of cargo concealed from prying eyes on the outside. Go ahead and move my backpack here so I can show you exactly what is underneath the false load floor. A lot of plastic. We do get our jack. Here is the storage space for that roller shade I mentioned, and a few other storage pieces. Underneath all this plastic is the spare tire in this vehicle as well. So if you need to get to it on a day such as this where it's rainy and gloomy, you're not going to be handling a wet, nasty tire because it is actually concealed nicely out of the weather and different conditions outside, which I do believe is a very big win. If you want to put the rear seats up, you simply can pull on the tether back there, and it is very easy to get those back up. Very nice cargo capacity back here, very easy to set up for multiple different things. We do get a power plug back here that is 120 volt, 1500 watt for any tailgating you might want to do. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm 5'10", got plenty of headroom. I don't have to duck like I did underneath the back of the Sienna. The hatch on this really does open up nice and wide and makes a lot of room. You can see just above my head here are the buttons to close it and to lock it. But as I showed you earlier with the opening function, you can also close it with a swift kick underneath that certain section of the bumper right there. I don't guess it wanted to work for me. Let's try it again. There we go. I didn't kick forcefully enough. It registered because it gave me a couple beeps, but did nothing about it. Yep, I've got the vehicle running, so it is still beeping at me. Before we hop inside out of the rain today, I did want to show you the key. It is your typical Toyota key. Looks very much like a lot of the last products we've tested, including the Crown, including my dad's 2021 Avalon. Not much too special about it, but it has everything you need on it. Lock, unlock, your hatch button, panic button, and it does in fact have remote start. You simply press the lock button once, twice, hold it on the third time, and the vehicle will eventually start up. This does have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, and I have been told that vehicles with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 actually remain on if you remote start them and unlock them, which is not something Toyota products of past have actually been able to do. So that is a big plus for me. That is a huge win for us here in East Texas, because it gets rather warm and we like to start the air conditioning and leave it running when we put Tucker in. I will say this is a passive entry system, so you can see there is a lock right there. To unlock it, you just put your hand on the back of the door handle, and that is available on all 4 door handles, which is a very nice touch. I really appreciate, again, the comfort and the ease at which we can load our kiddo in the back. We just go to the back door, put our hand on it, and unlock it. As we open the vehicle and look inside, this is where this limited trim really even outclasses the Lexus on which this shares a platform. There we go, I'll get the words out. Yes, the Lexus TX is brand new for the Lexus brand and is built off this same platform. We tested one just a few weeks ago around Christmas time, and its interior did not feel as nice as this one. This definitely feels much more premium and upscale. We get some fake wood look up here, which does rival that of the Kia Telluride. It looks very familiar to what's in the Telluride, but was absent from the Lexus model. And I think it just breaks up some of the black in here and makes this, again, look a little more premium and special. You can see we have a power 10-way driver's seat with 2-person memory. We do have a power 8-way passenger seat up front as well. We have powerful mirrors and all your mirror controls, your lock, your window controls, and your window lockout all right here. Nice little cubby of storage right here that is carpeted. More storage down here in the bottom of the door. Again, 10-way power adjustable driver's seat with 2-way lumbar. And then very comfortable leather wrap seats here in our Limited model. You can get suede accents on the Hybrid Max Limited or the Hybrid Max Platinum. So those are really nice seats, but this is very familiar to anyone that's been in a modern Toyota product. The design of it very much recalls the last Camry we've seen and a lot of other Toyota vehicles that we've been in. I'm gonna go ahead and hop out of the rain and go ahead and turn off the flashers here. I'm going to turn the vehicle off and back on just so you can see the startup procedure of it and what happens when you start this vehicle up. So you might have noticed push button start, completely passive entry into this one, and keyless push button start. When I push the button, nothing happens because this is the hybrid model. It can drive around at low speeds in EV mode and is a very nice touch. You can putter around with never even turning on that gas motor. Again, at low speeds, it is a very nice touch and maneuvers around quite easily. Does help with the fuel economy numbers of this one as well. You can see we have a full 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster, and over here we have a 12.3 inch touchscreen infotainment system over here as well. All very nice units. This is running the Toyota designed system in it now, which is quickly making its way across the Toyota lineup. Starting over my left knee, we've got your automatic brake controls, heated steering wheel, the controls for that power outlet in the back, your hatch control button right here, odometer reset button right there, as well as your screen brightness for your gauge cluster. Taking a look at the steering wheel, all the controls up here are very quick and easy to use. Again, much better than the Lexus TX, on which this shares a platform. Those are all touch sensitive buttons. I like the more traditional buttons. It just works better in reality. And having driven that Lexus TX through the rain in heavy traffic, I much prefer this. You've got your volume and voice controls here, all your radio controls down here, your adaptive cruise buttons over here, and all your buttons that control your customizable gauge cluster up here. So I can show you multiple different ways that you can reconfigure each of the 3 sections here. You just pan from one to another, multiple different things that can be displayed through all of them. I really like all the information that is given to you up here. You can see we've driven this one 140.9 miles and we're getting just under 30 mpg, which is less than the EPA estimates for this vehicle. But much like today, sometimes we sit around with it, quote unquote, idling a little bit, although the vehicle is not, the vehicle is on, but the engine is not. Just the rigors of filming sometimes does hamper those fuel economy numbers, but still 30 mpg for a vehicle this big is more than double that of Chevy Tahoes and the bigger body on frame vehicles on which this does actually compete. Again, we've got the 12.3 inch gauge or digital infotainment screen here above all your HVAC controls. I really like that we have physical buttons here. This is a dual mode automatic AC system. It's actually a tri-zone system because the rear passengers get their own. You do get heated and ventilated front seats up here, heated outboard captain's chairs in our model, which is really nice. The vents are well placed and do a very good job of getting air to you. I really like that a lot. Moving down here, we get 1, 2, 3 USB-C ports up front here. I do believe there are 7 total in this vehicle. So you can keep your devices charged and charged quickly here in the Grand Highlander. I will go ahead and show you. I've got my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and let's see if I can do this one-handed. We can actually interface with the infotainment screen through this USB-C port alone. All the others are simply for power alone, but this will allow us to interface with the system through the wired cord here. I do like that a lot. See, there we've got our CarPlay. It is also set up for wireless, but this is how it works wired in. There we go. You can see very snappy, very quick to use. Really like it a lot. Very good system here. Toyota has a winner here, even if they don't have a dedicated home screen. This will go away after you set it up initially. Moving down below, we've got a little bit of storage here, though it is kind of scratchy black plastic that if you put something hard on, it is going to rattle because it does sound hollow underneath. We get a Qi wireless charger here. Open storage, couple cup holders here. If you watched our Lexus TX video, you know that they have removable cup holders and you can make this like all empty space, which is kind of weird to me. We do get a couple of poverty buttons right here. I do believe one of these would be to engage the camera system. You can see in our model, we only get the standard rear camera in this. All vehicles made in 2014 model year and after are federally mandated for a reverse camera in this, but you can see we do get trajectory. The definition of it is very crisp and clear, and perhaps one of the reasons you may want to look at this over the Sienna is for the infotainment system alone. We get the full digital gauge cluster here, the bigger screen here running the new infotainment with better resolution on the cameras. The last 2 Siennas we drove just had horribly low resolution cameras, so this is a nice plus over the Sienna. Moving down, we get a mechanical actuator for that eCVT, and then we get our electronic parking brake, our brake hold button right here, traction control button, EV mode button, downhill assist control, sport mode, eco mode, normal mode, and trail mode, again because we have all-wheel drive. I have not gotten to test all of those and sadly won't in our time with this. The center console of this vehicle is stolen practically straight out of the traditional Highlander, which is still produced with this roller shade opening that still gives you armrests on both sides. Really like that. Coming inside, you can see this thing is deep. I can put my arm in all the way to the elbow, and you get this removable tray that slides back and forth. So I really appreciate just how much storage is here underneath this roller shade in the middle. You also get the storage up here in this empty spot. Again, kind of scratchy plastic, but great for charging devices. boxes, setting them up here, or putting some snacks for a trip. You also get a damped, very large glove box down here. I'm going to go ahead and peek around because the passenger side gets this cutout over here, again, with some scratchy black plastic. So you don't want to put anything hard that's going to rattle back there, but just some additional storage. Again, very nice seats. Our model does not have the panoramic glass roof on this one, so very traditional ceiling in this one, which means I've got plenty of headroom. The big boxy shape alone gives me plenty of headroom, but not having to have a cutout for a sunroof or a panoramic roof really does aid in just how much headroom is allowed in these vehicles. It is a real win up here. We do have some controls for the lighting up here, as well as some sunglass holders. You can opt for, on top trims, a digital rear view mirror. We do not have that. So you can see my view out of the back is slightly hampered by the fact that Tucker's car seat's back there in the back, and then we have those headrests up back there as well. That is about it for the front seat. Let's go ahead and pop into the second row of seats and then into the third. You may have heard my feet squeak because, yes, we do have all-weather floor mats in this, which works so well on a gray, gloomy, wet day like we have today, which we will not really need these roll-up manual sunshades in the back windows, but I love that these are offered. They need to be in more family vehicles. The suction cup ones that we used when Tucker was a baby, they just don't work. Again, we get some storage in the door here, kind of scratchy black plastic, but you can put stuff here in this carpeted section, which won't rattle around on you. And then we do have the captain's chairs. You can opt for a bench seat depending on which powertrain you have, because that Hybrid Max does not allow for a bench seat here in the second row. I guess I'm gonna have to leave my door open for a little bit of light on this gray day, but you can see we've got map pockets on the backs of both seats, and sitting behind myself at 5'10", I have got plenty of room. I've got no complaints here. You can see on the back of the center console, we've got all the controls for our third zone HVAC system, as well as the buttons for our 3-stage heated captain's chairs back here. A couple more USB-C ports back here, so that brings us to a total of 5 so far, and more AC power back here with the 3-prong household style plug, which is really nice. Coming around to me, again, plenty of headroom, no complaints here. And since we do have captain's chairs, we get this fixed in place center console that does have some tablet storage here with some little rubber grippers for tablets, but I called it fixed in place. You can actually remove it with a little latch right there. And now you've got a pass-through for if you do have car seats in both of these captain's chairs, because unfortunately, as I pop out, I will show you these do not work great for if you've got a child seat in place, because the seat backs fold forward, and then that allows the seat to be pushed forward. But when you do, if you don't have a child seat in place, you do get nice access to the third row. Toyota puts a nice step in there, and then you've got a third row all-weather floor mat back here as well. That is also very nice. You can see I'll lift this seat in its upright position. We'll go ahead and see. It's not great in its upright position. So if you want the most cargo capacity back there, you're going to be punishing your passengers back here. If I reach over my shoulder, the recline on this is immense and very welcomed. Being in this 40% section, I am kind of hampered by the fact that the center seat is kind of in my way just a little bit, which the Lexus TX had no pretense. It was a 50-50 split 2-person back seat. Here we've got a 60-40 3-person back seat. I do think 3 back here is going to be a little tight, but 2 back here is no real big problem. And I will show that to you by pulling this seat back all the way and setting it up. So traditional seating position, which is where I just was, is very comfortable even here in the third row with somebody here in the second row. You can even afford to have this person recline just a little bit, and now my knees are just touching. You can see we've got armrests built in, so they can get very comfortable there while still making it comfortable for me here. Also get a latch back here if I really need it to get out myself. top tethers on both of these captain's chairs. And while we're talking child seat, I do a full child seat installation of Tucker's child seat here. We've got lower mounting points in both of the second row seats, but only here on the passenger side in the third row. So we have top tether here, but only lower mounting points back here on the passenger side. Very big windows mean you won't be claustrophobic back here. Ceiling mounted vents mean you'll actually get some air back here. And we get 2 more USB-C ports in the little grab handles that Toyota gives you for climbing out of this vehicle. So that is a very nice touch. 7 in total. We do have little mounting points for seat belts, so I didn't have to trip over it getting in and out, which I really like. And then the cup holder storage situation right here is very nice. A lot of pass-throughs here for tablets if you need to put something tall in here, like a tablet, or if you've got mugs with handles, Stanley cups, whatever the case may be, you can absolutely keep that in here, no problem. Very, very, very nice, very spacious 3-row vehicle. And as you can see, Tucker has opted to ride back here in the 3rd row. If you want to see his thoughts on it, as well as Holly's, go see our family review or hit the subscribe so you'll see it when it drops later this week. But now, let's hop behind the steering wheel and see how this thing drives on such an inclement day here in East Texas. Okay, setting off in the Grand Highlander, all-wheel drive, limited, hybrid, all the qualifiers. I've enjoyed my week with this one. I really have. I do believe this is the spec I would buy if I were in the market for this vehicle. I think the only thing this doesn't have that I would want is a panoramic glass roof. I've just really grown to like them, especially when it comes to filming. It just makes life a little bit easier having a mounting point for one of my cameras. But driving this thing around, that 4-cylinder engine has not been overworked. I will say you may notice it, especially here in a minute when I get out into traffic. It is a little noisy under load, but general cruising around town, I'm in EV mode right now. Like, it's an electric vehicle, so it's quiet and silent. And the only noise I really hear is coming from Tucker's child safety seat way back there in the back, which is nothing Toyota can do anything about. So this has been a very calm, quiet, competent, comfortable vehicle for tooling about town. The steering is very light and is not reliant on the gas engine. Unlike the Honda Odyssey that I tested while in LA earlier this year, that would kick the engine on from start to stop anytime I would move the steering wheel even slightly. Yes, the hybrid motor can control all of the electronically assisted power steering function in this, but that 4-cylinder is a little noisy, again, under load, but as I start cruising, it turns off. I'm in EV mode now. It is a very quiet vehicle in here, and I have no complaints. Again, it is a big vehicle, but the electronically assisted power steering doesn't make this feel like it's big and bulky and heavy. It does make it fairly easy to maneuver around. Perhaps another shortcoming of this model is no 360 cameras on it, which would make parking this a little bit easier. But again, it is very simple to line up and get into a parking space. So again, nitpicks, real nitpicks on this one. We do have multiple different drive modes in this vehicle. We have spent most of our time in Eco, which does the most with its regenerative braking. I even get a little display here when my brakes are on, and it's slowing me down for traffic ahead of me and to put battery power back into that battery so that I can cruise even longer on EV mode. And I will say, in Eco, that regenerative braking is kind of thick. It really likes to slow you down, especially in stop and go traffic. Simply pushing the normal button really kind of gets rid of all of that and makes driving this around a breeze. It really is easy. I have not felt like this is a huge vehicle, even though the interior proportions of this make it feel like a huge vehicle to all the people that matter. riding in all 3 rows. Visibility is really good all the way around as well. Depending on where your seats are positioned, you have a little bit better visibility, but I do have blind spot monitors on this one to help when it comes to changing lanes, all the typical safety stuff you would expect from Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. So I've got no complaints there either. Comfort all the way back, very good. Ride, very soft, smooth, doesn't shake you up. It's just good. It's good all the way around. I have already recommended this vehicle and this trim to 2 of my friends. I really do believe in it that much. We, as a family of 3, don't need a vehicle this big, but if we did get one, it even fits in our 1963 built 2 single bay door garage rather nicely. So that is another plus that it has for it, that you can put 3 rows of people in it just fine, and it fits in my garage just fine. So the wins just keep stacking up for this Toyota Grand Highlander. I do believe this is quickly going to become one of their best-selling vehicles, and I do believe that this trim and powertrain combination is really the sweet spot for me for how we would use a vehicle in our life. I really like the traditional hybrid system in it, where that Hybrid Max that we tested in the Platinum trim really is geared more for power than anything else. So if you just need the power of the V6, like that is a non-negotiable for you, get the Hybrid Max, but know that you are sacrificing a bench seat if that is also something you wanted. There are some weird packaging options here in the Grand Highlander, that's for sure. But all the way around, I highly recommend this vehicle, and I have really enjoyed my time with it. So much so that I look back on our testing of the Lexus version in that TX with the exact same powertrain as this, which cost nearly 10 grand more than this. And I stick by my statement that I made in that video. Save your money, get the Toyota version. It really is that good. That is about it for my time here in the Grand Highlander. If you want to see more from us in this vehicle, absolutely hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you will see Holly's thoughts from behind the wheel, Tucker's thoughts from that 3rd row of seats. Get the lowdown on this one. You can also find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, on this chilly, cold, wet January day in 2024 here in East Texas, until next time, gearheads, bye.